There's no shortage of information about the pollution in Onondaga Lake, or of the massive cleanup efforts that are now taking place. The goal of this film is to share with the viewer some of the remarkable stories that may have been lost along the way. The turn of the 20th century would find competing resorts on Onondaga Lake. Tens of thousands would flock to the west shore of the lake to shoot the chute at White City, to ride the carousel at Long Branch, or while the night away at the many dance halls of Pleasant Beach. The skies above Onondaga Lake would be home to a boat that could fly, and to a hot air balloon daredevil who sadly could not. Throughout the 1800s, Onondaga Lake would produce 90% of all the salt used in the U.S., a supply that was so valuable to the Union cause that local workers were excused from military service during the Civil War. Many would volunteer to fight and go on to distinguish themselves at Gettysburg and on Sherman's famed March to the Sea. As early as 1600, Onondaga Lake would begin showing up on maps across the Atlantic, and European powers would begin vying for access. Drawn by the presence of the salt, yes, but especially at first, it was access to the people of the region that drove so much interest. The Onondagas had lived with, on, and around Onondaga Lake for thousands of years. The lake was the centerpiece of the Iroquois Confederacy and is believed to be its founding place. As the most powerful entity on the continent, cooperation from the Iroquois was key to trading or even existing in the New World. To early European explorers and missionaries, Onondaga Lake would provide a point of entry, and on at least one occasion, provided a hasty retreat. Onondaga Lake has been many things to many people over the years. These are stories of industry and innovation, of courage and conflict, of a thriving city that would become a hub of the industrial age, and of a glorious society that would stand as a model for democracies throughout the globe. This is a story of differing perspectives and of hope for reconciliation. This is the story of Onondaga Lake.
Hello, I'm here at Onondaga Lake State Park on the north shore of Onondaga Lake. I want to orient you. To my front is the village of Liverpool. To my right, at a distance of about 1 mile, is the city of Syracuse. I see the former Carrier Dome, which was recently renamed the JMA Wireless Dome, and I also see Destiny USA, which is the 4th largest and busiest mall in the country. I see an elevated interstate, which is Route 81, which runs from Johnson City, Tennessee, all the way to the Canadian border. To my rear here, you'll see the marina, officially called the Syracuse Yacht Club. And also to my rear, across the lake and a little bit to my left, would be the St. Joseph's Health Amphitheater, which is an 18,000 seat venue that was completed in 2015. And it's been getting all the latest acts recently. To my right, if you go the distance of the lake intersects with the New York State Thruway, which is a toll road that runs from New York City to Buffalo and beyond. At 5 miles in length, this is the 3rd smallest of the Finger Lakes. And they all have native names: Owasco, Otsego, Cayuga, Cayuga, Oneida. And the Onondaga people obviously lived here long before the Europeans settled. And this place has great significance, historical significance, because the Iroquois Confederacy was formed right here on the north shore of Onondaga Lake, at which point they became known as the Haudenosaunee. 1654, the Onondaga revealed to French settlers in the area and also Jesuit missionaries, they revealed the location of many salt flats in the area. So the colonists began to extract salt from here before the Revolution. However, it wasn't until the 1820s, with the completion of the Erie Canal, that enabled the transportation of large amounts of salt to large Great Lakes cities such as Chicago, Detroit, and Cleveland, and also large cities that had Atlantic ocean ports such as New York City and Boston. This became a popular resort, and by the end of the 19th century, the shores of this lake were dotted with many hotels, restaurants, and amusement parks. However, the abundance of salt in the area contributed to its industrialization, with the Solvay Process Company in 1881, which began to produce soda ash in 1883, and then began to dump it directly in the lake, dump its waste directly in the lake shortly after that. In 1907, the New York State Attorney General threatened legal action, however none was taken, and by 1920 multiple other chemical plants had located on the shores of this lake and also began to dump their waste directly into the lake. It unfortunately became the most polluted lake in the United States, and swimming was banned in this lake in 1940, followed by fishing, which was banned in 1970. Increasing political pressure and changing environmental laws forced the last remaining polluter, which is the Allied Signal Incorporated, to leave in 1986. That company became the Honeywell Corporation, and New York State filed a lawsuit against it in 1989. It took decades, however the state won, and dredging began in 2012, and the cleanup was completed in 2017 at a cost of more than $675 million. As part of the settlement, Honeywell was also ordered to build and staff the visitor center, which is located about 400 yards to my right, which is a very nice visitor center, and also the Salt Museum, which is located between me and that. Legal problems have continued because the bad stuff that they were dredging, they were sending it on a pipe westward, and a town west of Onondaga Lake initiated a class action suit because the pipe was going through their town, and that has not been settled yet. However, this is a demictic lake, which means that water completely mixes top to bottom every year, and if you combine that with the fact that they spent over $500 million cleaning it, and also that the Syracuse area often leads the country in snow, those three contributing factors have led to a remarkable recovery of the lake. We have 52 bald eagles roosting on the east end of it. If you go down there on any given day, you will see several people with large cameras, with large lenses, trying to capture that moment when a bald eagle goes into the lake and gets a fish. It has been determined safe to swim in. However, the state of New York, the county of Onondaga, and the town of Liverpool, neither one of them have been bold enough to establish a beach as of yet. And the reason for that is it has been determined that eventually somebody's going to get sick, and they're going to blame their sickness, which might or might not have been contributed to swimming in the lake, to the lake. So they're scared of lawsuits, legal action. To give you an example of how polluted this lake once was, in 1980, we were driving to the New York State Fair on Route 690, which runs parallel to the south of the lake, a road that runs parallel about 200 yards from the lake, and I was able to smell the lake. I was able to smell it from 200 yards away then. Well, my father-in-law, who grew up in the area, told me that it used to sting his eyes. So decades ago, this lake was so polluted that it used to sting your eyes, or sting one's eyes, and it made a tremendous recovery since then. If you're wondering about the lacrosse stick, this is also ground zero for lacrosse, or the Creators game, and they have many events at the end of this lake over there. They have a field set up, and I bought the stick from the Onondaga stick craftsman, who might or might not be the most renowned lacrosse stick craftsman in the world. Anyway, this concludes my presentation on Onondaga Lake. Thanks for watching.